go, everyone lined up and ready. The game just loading us in here to the grid. But there it is, the lighting sequence has been initiated. All 5 red lights are lit, and there we are away here for the final race around Silverstone for the evening. Microlander not getting the best start on compared to Richie. Bido already having a look at him around the outside, and he's made it all the way into P2 already around the outside of turn 1, and Ben the Bear is going to look around the outside as well, now coming up the inside into the loop. The Racing Point looking for P3, and it looks like he might have found it. Microlander holding it around the outside of Aintree down onto the Wellington Straight, and he's just ahead by a nose. But now Ben the Bear later on the brakes up the inside. The Racing Point squeezes past to take P3 away.
Right now, some action behind here. We have Domi on the inside of King coming through Luffield as Van Puten's looking at him as well. Let's take a look behind Van Puten as it's Thomas, Mikau, and the whole train is in full force now as we're on to the opening lap of this race. Someone who's had a very, very abysmal start is Neon. He's dropped behind Shenjay. Shenjay now partnered up with Mikau, 11-12 for both the AlphaTauris. They're on the mediums. Neon not going to be happy. He's fallen out of this grid on these softs right now because, look, Yoda's right behind him in that Mercedes, and as we move up ahead, there goes Domi making another move. He's wheel-to-wheel with Blotel. Is he going to get the move done, though? Blotel now going to be defending, and Jean has left the session. There's been a retirement. There's been an issue, and that's a virtual safety car. The Alfa Romeo of Jean having that issue through Maggots and Beckett's, and this is going to really throw a wrench into the equation. Who comes into the pit lane? It's Shenjay and Neon. Yoda as well. And all these early pit stops from these drivers are going to represent them with a very unique opportunity because they are going to get a lot of time out of this.
Yeah, Shenjay's in for an excellent run now, as are the other medium runners who are getting advantage of this. Freeway had an issue at the start coming out of Woodcote, I think. He was spinning there, but no damage. Jean's crashed, though, because Freeway was a little bit behind. Had an opportunity to look at it when Jean was going off the track. Jean, absolutely huge crash from him. His car was actually airborne after bouncing off the wall. Not quite sure what caused it going into Maggots and Beckett's, but just a really big crash and so unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo driver there. His teammate Domi up in 6th, though, so it's not all over for the Alfa Romeo team.
Well, all these drivers very close right now as we're back to green flag racing. It was Van Puten looking through the inside of King, through Luffield, and now Dason. That's Nigel, of course, that we know him through Season 3 as the McLaren. Has now taken a drive-through penalty. Shenjay as well has a penalty, and that is a drive-through. So Shenjay getting that pit stop in. Now with a drive-through penalty, well, I can't say he'll be thrilled.
It was shaping up very nicely for him, but now sort of fallen into Yoda's hands in that respect. Those fresh softs will be paying him dividends, I imagine, at the end of this race. Zamas a little bit wide coming out of Stowe, hopping into the pits for Ben, so there is that interesting strategy coming out of him. Those tyres will be about 5 laps old now, given the amount of laps he did in qualifying on them. A lot of drivers following him into the pits as well, and now we're seeing a lot more drivers coming into the pits, as well as DRS, but it's Zamas under pressure from Domi. But Domi not finding a way through. Looked like he was going to have a little look at the inside into Village, but now coming through the loop into Aintree. The Alfa Romeo will have DRS. Zamas has it on Microlander ahead, but he doesn't really have the slipstream that Domi will have. And Domi into the rear of Zamas manages to save it, the Mercedes. So nice that hasn't resulted in something worse, but
not too sure if Zamas felt that. It didn't seem like it unsettled the car too much. Zamas might know he's there. I imagine it didn't help Domi's case. We've got another issue. There's a Ferrari. I'm not entirely sure who it is. Looks like it's Thomas. He's had an issue.
No damage on that car. But here goes Alex. Up the inside of Richie into Stowe for P1.
And there goes Domi as well through on the inside of Stowe. And we're going to jump to Bido. Let's see what Richie's able to do about this as well as we come through the chicane. Tons of overtaking going on right now as Domi and Zamas are still wheel-to-wheel, and Domi's made it happen with the Microlander, a 1:27.009. The fastest lap of this race so far, and look at the amount of drivers who have come in. Neon, all the way down this grid with the exception of Dason, have come in for fresh tires. Or has Dason already had... No, Dason hasn't come in. He just hasn't crossed into lap 4 yet.
Yeah, and there's a big train here up at the front and a fairly large train down at the bottom as well for drivers. And these are all going to interlace sort of when these front 8 come in for their pit stops. And the front 7, well, they all started on the softs. Van Putten, he's got a penalty there. But I believe it's a 3 seconds. It is, so he won't serve it in the pit lane. And he's still on the medium soft. So I'll have to see how that sort of pans out for him over the course of the next few laps.
Yoda breathing down Neon's neck as we come through Luffield. And it's half a second the gap between these two right now, but we're going to switch back to Richie. As there he goes up the inside of Biddo, and these two are continuing to do the dance. Microlander not too far behind them, and here goes Biddo for the undercut. And that could have been a very good move from Biddo to prime it there. Richie wanting to get ahead of Biddo. Biddo saying, I know he's going to want that. Let's go for an undercut. Let's see if I can get back through. Let me see if I can take lead of this race for lap 5. He'll want it back by the end. I'll undercut him. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you very much. Here goes Yoda right around Neon, and there's just no contest there with the DRS in full operation.
Yeah, DRS is so powerful around this track, the 2 zones that it's got it. It's you got to be scared if you're the driver in front in that situation.
The undercut here is powerful. Biddo's coming out of the pit lane already, and he's going to come out just behind Tim or Ben the Bear. Looks like it's going to be Ben. So that's great for Biddo. He's undercut himself all the way into 11th position on a fresh set of mediums to the end of this race. Barring any issues making it his way through traffic, he could be on for a good result here because the undercut is going to give him hopefully what he needs, and that's a position on Richie and Microlander as well.
I'm looking at Yoda's drift. He's in 8th place right now.
Oh,
on
Neon.
Those softs.
Neon spun around coming out of Luffield. I jumped to Yoda, and I saw this Williams around in his rearview mirrors, and here goes Freeware through. Where does Neon drop? All the way to 15th position. 16th now.
And, well, a lot of the front runners are coming in. Zamas stays out, though.
Well, here comes the undercut from Biddo. Where is he going to come out in relation to these drivers ahead? Zamas now in the lead of this race with Blotel and King behind him. Richie, Microlander, Domi, Van Putten, they all pit.
Yoda is going to just skyrocket. If Yoda overtakes Richie here, I do believe he is the net leader of this race. And he's going to get Richie. He's going to get him.
Oh, that's just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic for Yoda. Where's Biddo going to come out here? Does he get Richie? No. So the undercut on Alex Biddo's end has failed him, and he has 3 cars in front of him right now, all on the same stint. That's Microlander, Ben, and Richie. And they are 2.3 seconds off the rear of Yoda. Yoda does not need to pit again in this race. He is on these tires to the end. Now, if he is able to maintain a gap and pull away, or perhaps even catch himself up with any of these racers ahead, given the fact that, well, no, it's a very long pit here, so he will be, yes, once King, Blotel, and Zamas come in, the leader of this race, as you said, and that's just fantastic for him. And now there's an issue, as Mikal, it would seem, as I only caught the back end of the issue. Van Putten has some damage on that Renault. That front left end plate is off, and I'm not entirely sure what caused it. Zamas and King into the pits now. Blotel's hanging out.
Yeah, I imagine we'll see Yoda get these places as well, and like you said, we're going to have to see whether the undercut for the likes of Richie comes in as well, but Yoda is in a very nice looking position. He needs to sort of bring out the gap now because his tires will start to wear off at the end of the race, but I imagine the pace he's got in them at this stage of the race will help him stay out. The in-game strategy is telling drivers to pit now, it would seem, but yeah, Yoda now past those two, Richie as well, Ben, Microlander, Biddo, Domi. So Zamas and King there really dropping as a result of that pit stop.
Freeware breathing down
medium's not
Zamus's
powerful.
neck, and he's on these softs to the end. And one thing to note is the penalty situation that has come through into this one. Bido, Zamus, King, all with 3 seconds, as well as Van Putten and Cactus. And then we have Dason, unfortunately, collecting up to 9 seconds in this race so far. We still have a good chunk of running. We're about halfway through.
And you mentioned Freeware there. He is having a stellar recovery drive. He had a mistake on the first lap coming through this section of track right here, Woodcote, but he's climbed his way back into 9th place after pitting early on onto the soft tyres, off of the mediums, and, well, I imagine he's pretty happy with the recovery drive as it's going right now. Like you said, he's breathing down the neck of Zamus, coming through Maggots and Beckett, so that Mercedes will know that he's there. But Zamus is on fresh mediums, so those tyres are going to have a lot of pace towards the end of this race. Not quite a fresh set of softs, but a fresh set of mediums. It's still pretty good. Lil Bokel is into that pit lane. And this is where I imagine we will see Yoda take the lead, where he will hope to stay as Van Putten is spinning in the gravel trap. The Renault has a lot of damage on the left-hand side of his front wing.
Oh, he's not going to be too thrilled about that, Remco. Right now, a ton of drivers still in tight formation as King on the much fresher mediums, looking to hunt down Tim right now. Of course, he does have 3 seconds to his name. As Blotel and Zamus now exchanging wheel to wheel just ahead of them. Let's take a look at how this is going as we come through the loop now. Zamus in 7th. Let's see what Blotel is able to do about it. They're both on mediums.
Yeah, well, the Red Bull just got planted right in the middle of this battle between Zamus and Freeware on coming out of the pit lane. And Zamus is going to be thrilled about it, but Freeware, he's going to be bitterly disappointed that he's not able to hunt down Zamus as quickly as he'd like now on these soft.
Yeah, big monkey wrench in Freeware's plans for sure. King right now 1.3 seconds off of Freeware, and if he pulls himself into that train, it could be very, very bad for Freeware as well, because he's on those softs to the end of this race. And those mediums for King have a ton more life in them. The only thing saving Freeware in that situation, realistically, would be King's penalty right now.
Yeah, penalties, we've seen them, you know. It's a short race, so getting a penalty means that you have less time to draw out the gap you need to retain the place that you've got. And as a result of that, penalties can play a big role in these shorter races. So it's a tough one for the drivers out there. Bitter has a penalty. So we could see a few drivers gain places based on their lack of penalties at the end of this race. Domi, I imagine, will be looking to be one of those, staying within 3 seconds, Alex Bido, in the last few laps.
Well, Richie has made up a significant amount of time on Yoda in these past few laps. Yoda has a very tight gap with Richie behind him now. Older tires. Yoda's going to need to do some very good and stellar defensive driving to hold off Richie right now, because at the end of this race, it is Richie's tires that will have a little bit more speed in them. Ben right now in 3rd position. He needs to do some work in applying pressure to Richie as well, but he's got Microlander and Bido in a very long train following along with Yoda.
Yeah, this grid is still super tight, despite the fact that we've been going, you know, for 9 laps already. Now, Blotel on the rear of Zamus.
What's happened to Dason? Dason's had a retirement, and it's cops. And there's a safety car deployed on lap 9. Oh, this is going to be massive. This is going to be massive. Majority of the front runners have missed the pit lane. Blotel's coming in, and the big question is, what tires is he going to get on? Well, it might not matter now. He's taking 5 seconds.
I don't think that pitting was the right call. I don't think the tires are really going to matter too much here, Stu.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think the pit was a waste. They are not going to have the time. They are not going to have the time to push the positions they think they're going to here. I think we might get 1 or 2 laps of green flag racing. We're not going to see DRS. This is a safety car towards the end of this race, and it's going to bunch up this grid massively. I'll tell you one person who's going to be happy about it, and that's Yoda. Because Richie won't have DRS to assist him in his fight. And now, he'll be able to save a little bit of those tires.
Yeah, he will lose that gap, though, that he strung out so
Well, the
It's
gap
gonna
was
be
gone.
tight.
The gap was gone already. The gap was gone. If anything, this has really given him a leg to stand on.
Yeah, Richie microlander as well on those 3-lap old mediums. He's, you know, behind Ben. Ben's tyres are already 6-lap old. Obviously, really not a problem for Ben, but his tyres won't have as much pace as the cars around him, which could hurt him. Biddo's got that penalty, so this could see Domi, you know, easily take that position. There was 1.5 seconds before between them. Now, obviously, the gap reduced to mere tenths, so Domi will be happy. Those with a penalty, it's gonna affect them the worst.
I'm just so excited for this ending. Yoda, Richie, Ben the Bear, top 4 right now. No penalties. Domi in the mixture as well. Zamis. Biddo there. He's in 5th, and the Spaniard, he started this race in a very, very unique position, hunting down drivers left and right. Well, he started in 3rd.
Yeah, the position of changes. Yoda's up 17 places. It's insane. But, you know, we were talking about the medium soft tier being powerful. The chat was saying it too, and, well, it certainly worked out for Yoda here. Other drivers not too so much, but Yoda's really nailed the chassis around here.
He's nailing it. He hasn't nailed it just yet. He needs a victory. He really does. And if you look at where Yoda is in this race, ladies and gentlemen, he's made up 17 positions. So I'd have to say he's having a stellar drive.
Yeah, he got driver of the day already in his semi-final race to get himself here, and I'm pretty sure, regardless of if he finishes 1st, 2nd, 3rd, wherever he might finish this race, he will pick up that in-game award again here. But he doesn't care about that. He wants to finish on that top spot. And, well, the safety car, like you said, might be his best opportunity to do it. It should get the call to come in at the end of this lap. And then we'll have 2 laps of racing where Yoda has to defend from Richie, and, well, Richie has to get past Yoda.
Let's have your predictions in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to have the safety car come in, I imagine, and let's see who is winning this race. We've got Yoda, Richie, Ben, Microlander, your top 4. No penalties. Biddo, Domi, Zamis, they've got penalties 5, 6 through 7. Freeware in 8th, Tim in 9th, and Mikau bringing out the top 10 points finishers in this one.
Yeah, Domi picked up a penalty under the safety car. That's pretty much robbed his chances of overtaking Biddo there, because now he's got a 5-second versus the 3 Biddo did. I imagine Zamis and Domi maybe had a little coming together, which just gave them both a 5-second penalty for severe collision. Despite the fact it was probably just a light tap between the 2 cars.
Yoda right now gearing up this restart here as he slows down and paces this grid consistently. Richie holding tight with him. The big question is, when does the Master Jedi hammer down the throttle? Microlander's just taken 3 seconds on this restart, and that's going to cost him massively. We're about to enter the penultimate lap of this race, and Yoda's waiting all the way into the line, and here he goes. Richie's caught him, it would seem, on the throttle. What is this going to do for these racers as Ben the Bear in 3rd position's had a big spin out through Abby. Richie's gone wide, and Yoda is the only driver to have a clean run through the opening lap of this restart.
Yeah, Biddo now putting Microlander under pressure, and he dives up the inside into the loop. I think that might have been a little quick contact, and that's opened the door up for Domi on Microlander. So Microlander dropping 2 places on the restart, and Yoda really held it to the last moment. Richie was getting impatient, and that's done wonders for Yoda here. It's really bunched up the grid, and, well, it's given Yoda 6 tenths to play with. He's got 1.5 laps to hold that gap. But, goodness me, some last-minute drama. King and Shenjie now, they're side-by-side coming down out of Woodcote down towards Stowe. It's S-King ahead, Shenjie backing out and taking a lot of grass on the inside as well. But manages to hold on to the position. Domi and Biddo super tight, but a lot of last-minute drama here, and we've got 1.5 laps to go.
Zamas under threat right now. Mikau hunting him down as we come through the hangar straight. Let's see wheel-to-wheel action between these two. Mikau now through into 8th as he has the inside. Into Stowe. Cactus in 10th position. He's holding off King right now. He's on very, very old softs. Cactus with a very, very late lunge on Zamas here. He causes a bit of an issue. Not entirely sure what the Ferrari was thinking there. Zamas with a bit of damage on that front left, and this has caused a massive issue. King's gone round. Thomas, as well as Neon, avoid. And everybody is in it to win it on this last lap of the race. Yoda right now, 10-lap old softs versus Richie's 6-lap old mediums. Less than half a second separating these racers, and King has retired the car after the spin. Zamas and Shenjay are now battling as Neon is in on this mix as well. Neon through on the inside as we come down the Wellington straight. Here we have Shenjay looking on the inside of Zamas just the same. It's an absolute drag race coming down into Brooklands. Neon clear through 10th. Shenjay, Zamas wheel-to-wheel. Zamas holding well despite the damage on his front left. Shenjay has damage on his front right, and here we have it. Shenjay around the outside, getting that move done on Zamas now, who's dropped into 12th position. This is what it's about now. Yoda and Richie coming through Maggots and Beckett's here, Unicorn, and I think this is going to be where it happens, if it happens.
Yeah, and I was talking about recovery drive from Freeway. He's up 8 places where he started. Now Microlander goes into the dirt, and Freeway doesn't have a penalty. The 3 drivers ahead of him does. So we could see Freeway on the podium after starting way, way down the grid outside the top 10. Well, like you said, it's Richie versus Yoda. This Vale chicane, pretty much the last opportunity. Richie way too far back to make the move, and it looks like the Mercedes, driven by the Master Jedi, takes the win. And on the podium, it's going to be Freeway. The German takes it. Tim gets promoted into 4th as well. Mikau into 5th. With those podium penalties really playing a big role with that late game safety car.
What a race. What a race. I have to say, I was absolutely thrilled to see that finale with Yoda, Richie, Freeway coming through in the end to take that podium. Yoda is going to be absolutely thrilled with a win of that caliber. Ladies and gentlemen, Yoda starting this race pretty well at the back of the bus here. Fastest lap in the race, a 125.773, and you can see the position changes from Yoda. 17 positions gained for the Mercedes from where he began this race. He decided to go for the medium soft, and it worked out with a seriously early undercut.
Yeah, Freeway, Tim, and Mikau as well. 11 places for Freeway and Tim, 6 for Mikau. The medium soft worked out well for them as well. Richie, he lost a place, but second place, he'll still, I imagine, be somewhat happy with it. The softer medium strategy, the only one really getting anything out of it with a podium, but the medium soft. Everyone was saying at the start of the race how strong it was, and it's just been proven right there with some spectacular drives from the likes of Yoda, Freeway, Tim, Mikau.
Well, that was a very, very fun race. That was a very fun race. Of course, this is the anniversary event. This isn't something that we would normally do, is it, Unicorn? 3 back-to-back Silverstone 25% races. I think that it was fun, but it's definitely not what we're normally used to with the 50% distance league racing action, of course. But what a thrilling race that was, especially in the end. The safety car presenting us with some fantastic opportunities and some unique strategy there, and of course, who'd have thought otherwise? Driver of the day going to none other than the race winner, Yoda himself. And I have to say, it's a lot of fun. Now, I really, really hope you guys have all enjoyed this event. It's the anniversary event, and with that anniversary, we have a new trailer leading us into Season 4 for the new year. Mikau and I spent some great time on it, and we hope you guys enjoy it, but we'll be getting to that in just a few seconds. Before that, let's take a look real quick at the final classification, give you some closing regards, and then, for everybody that has been waiting, we're going to hit you very hard with the trailer. All right? Yoda, 18th to 1st with the win. Richie from 1st on pole position, not having to fight through the grid. However, Yoda having to fight through the grid, coming through with the win, and Richie gets a nice solid 2nd position there. Well done to him, and it's Freeway collecting the podium from 3rd. Well, it's from 14th, excuse me. He collects 3rd from 14th. Tim with a good drive as well, 15th to 4th. Mikau, 11th to 5th. Biddo, 3rd, dropping back to 6th. Microlander, 2nd to 7th. Domi, he drops back a slot. Maka, 17th to 9th with a monster drive. Shenjay, 16th to 10th, and they round out your top 10. Neon, 11th Thomas in 12th. Ben 13th. Blowtail 14th with Zamas 15th. That's Cactus 16th, excuse me. And Putin 17th. King 18th. Dason in 19th. And John